and you talking about irrelevant.
Like, you see how you're not listening to
I'm listening, and I called you a bitch.
Damn. All right. Okay. So, here's the situation. So, in the situation here now, right, with Sienna, okay, she is a wounded individual. Okay? A wounded individual. And when people are wounded, the moment that they are exposed, the moment that you touch their wound, they explode. Now, of course, Absalom's situation, let's be honest, Absalom's situation is far more different because I think we'd all be happy when Absalom did what he did, right? But the reality of the situation is he was wounded. Right? Because he never went to his dad. He never had a conversation with his father. He never went to David to say, hey, David, what are we going to do about Amnon? He never went to that. He went straight from, oh, if that's what we're doing, I'm on taking things myself. I'm on killing Negroes. I'm on plotting and planning and taking man out. See, when someone's wounded, it only takes one thing to trigger them. Okay? It only takes one thing to trigger them. And what ends up happening is usually chaos and destruction. Right? Chaos and destruction. This situation with Sienna and Brandon, yeah, all he did was actually say, hey, look, you don't listen very well. You don't listen very well. Right? And the next thing she went to is destruction. Destruction. Instead of her taking a moment or a second or two just to kind of relax and be like, hold on a minute. I don't like what you said, which is what she said. She went to, I'm going to devalue you and I'm going to reduce you. And you're not going to make me feel small. People that are wounded quickly go to destruction. Or someone might say self-sabotage. But they quickly go into destruction. They actually, because of the wound and the effect of that wound, the literal next thing is that they're going to take you down. That's the next thing. Because for them, everything becomes an offense. They're offended by what you're doing. They're offended by what you said. They're offended by the way you move. Listen, if you really look at the Sienna situation, she chose a man who she felt she was stronger than. Right? She chose a man who she was stronger than. Right? Quote unquote. Right? Because episode 1, they said to old boy, listen, you're the type to do whatever your woman says. Right? We saw in episode 2 how when it came to the sex conversation, how quickly she chose a sex position and didn't even consider him. Right? And I said it from the last episode. I said something is off about Sienna. I don't know what it is. Something's off. I can feel it. The way she even entered the room, I can sense something's off. Yeah? I didn't even know she's 8 years older. That's another thing. The reality of the situation is she doesn't respect him. She never did. But it's because she doesn't respect herself. And the reality was, she chose someone who she felt she had power over. This is where it gets mad. Okay? She chose someone who she thought she might have some power over. Right? But once that person stepped out of position and showed that they were not to be controlled, suddenly she was offended. Because a lot of times what happens is the vacuum in our heart that we feel, that pain, sometimes we fill it up with other behaviors that help us to be in a position of power. The reason why you want so much power is because you are powerless at a particular point in time in your life. And so you do things out of that powerlessness to be powerful. And so you're full of something that gives you power. And now, sometimes you choose a relationship, you choose someone who is a reflection of your power. So when you chose this man, let's be honest, you knew. Okay? You knew. Right? You chose someone who you knew you didn't necessarily respect. You knew. You knew you didn't respect him. You knew you were going to have contempt for him. But you chose him because it was a reflection of your power. Here's how it ties in. Just like Amnon, Sienna, just like Amnon, as soon as she got what she wanted, then she now began to what? Be wicked. You see, when Amnon got Tamar, after that, he hated her. When she has collected this man, and it's gotten into position. She found it contemptible. They've been talking for how long? How you not know this kind of guy? You've been talking for how long? Why? Why waste your time with somebody who you didn't? You know what I'm saying to you? And then when you actually get it and you're able to have it, as soon as it does, the person decides to, I don't like that anymore. I don't like it. The same way Amnon did. Because when you look at that person, you look at that person as a reflection of your choice, your brokenness. You wouldn't choose him ordinarily. Yeah, if you were healed, you wouldn't have chosen him. He's a reflection of your he's a reflection of your brokenness. Because the kind of guy that you want is somebody that takes the lead, somebody that's strong, that's someone that's dominant, someone that's going to provide protection for you. Now, I look at Sienna and I go, I feel like there's something happened and you weren't protected. And so you were looking for that particular energy. But the reality of the situation also is that you needed someone to emotionally take care of you. Because Sienna's given me somebody who doesn't take care of herself emotionally. And so sometimes when people are wounded, or some women when they're wounded, let me say this, right? A bit like Joanna and Aaron, same thing. Sometimes you choose a man who is more emotionally inclined than you are as a way of complementary energy, because you're less inclined at an emotional level. But then when you get that emotional man, you despise it, because it also at the same time, it doesn't allow you to actually be in your energy that you actually want to be in. You want to be in your you want to be in your feminine bag. You want to be in your emotional self. But you can't, because you chose somebody who would be a good fit for you to allow you to be who you are now, but won't allow you to grow. So you're angry because you can't grow. Oh, let me say it again. Okay, hold on. Sometimes, and this happens to both men and women, by the way, sometimes a woman might choose a man that's more emotionally inclined because she's less emotionally inclined. She doesn't do well with emotions. So she chooses a man that's more emotional. But once she gets that most emotional man, after a while, there is no safety for her because she's not able to relax and go into that emotional space, right? Then you begin to despise the choice that you actually made. Very similar to what I said about Amnon and Tamar. When he finally gets Tamar, he hates her. And so when she finally gets him, she hates him. In loose terms, not literally hate. Let's not say that. Okay? So that behavior that she displayed is of somebody that's very, very wounded. Very, very wounded. And, the conversation was interesting because once you see it, you realize that looking at the situation between looking at the situation between Sienna and Brandon, he remains so calm. He remains calm. Like, this brother was so calm.
He has a habit of just saying the first thing that comes to his mind without thinking about how it would make me feel. It triggered me a bit.
Like you.
And notice this, I love that point, Pacho. As soon as he says, actually, let me, do you know what's funny? Do you know what's really, really funny? Later on, she says, and this is really interesting, right? When people are wounded, they are easily offended, no matter what you do. She said she wants him to speak his mind. Did she not say that? Type in the chat for me if you remember. She says, I want him to speak his mind. I want him to be more of a person who speaks his mind. Like, I want him to actually be truthful about how he actually feels. So he shares how he feels. And immediately as he shares how he feels, she's offended by it. Oh, because you thought that when he shares how he feels, it would make the situation better for you, because then he'll be a man that you actually need. But the reality is, you're not ready for the man that you actually want. You're not ready for that man that you actually want. Now, the guy was very polite. He was even gentle with it. There was no disrespect. He was very calm about it. He presented it very well. And yet, the very thing you said you wanted, just like Amnon, this is, again, relating back to Amnon, going back to what Amnon wanted Tamar, had her. The moment he had her, he hated her because he was not ready for what he wanted. Ooh. And this is why, oh God, I hear you, God, I hear you. This is why sometimes, and this is why I see that God's talking to me right now. Okay. This is why sometimes certain blessings that God God doesn't release a blessing at the time, at that particular time, because what will happen is it will be destructive to you, because your mind is not ready to receive this blessing. When I say blessing, something that you've been praying for, sometimes the mind's not ready for it, right? That's something God's been talking to me about. Let's say I want to be a millionaire. God's like, yeah, I hear it. Great prayer. All right, you want to be a millionaire? All right, good. Okay, where's your mind at? And there's an example someone gave to me was, there are so many lottery winners. What happens to those people that are lottery winners? They self-destruct. And the reason why they self-destruct is because the money that comes into their hand is much more than their mind can conceive and work with. They're not ready for it, so they self-destruct. And it's very similar with Sienna in this situation. When she's wounded, she was asking for a man that would be more, tell the truth, be in a place where, they can actually, be truthful about how they feel. And the moment she gets the man that she's asking for to be truthful, and even did it gently and respectfully, might I add, she turns on him. Because she's not ready for the very thing she's asking for. Proof and sign that she hasn't grown. I feel like God's really at me. I hear it, God. I hear it. You're at me. I hear it. I think I'm dehydrated. I can really feel like I'm dehydrated. I haven't been drinking enough water. Anyway. So unfortunately, in this situation, she has not reached a point where she's ready to receive that which she asks for, right? The thing that she's asking for, she's not ready to receive that very thing. Her mind is not ready to conceive it yet. It's not ready yet, right? It's not ready yet. Now, I think there's a little bit more. Watch how she goes on an attack.
You're talking about me and inconsistency. You got kids
What's
by multiple
inconsistent?
people.
How's that inconsistent?
You have kids by multiple people. I feel like having a...
Now, she was like, oh, you have kids by multiple people. Look, the reality of the situation is, right? She starts attacking him because she feels offended. She feels attacked herself, right? And people who attack people oftentimes feel the most attacked. They feel attacked. So their way of defending themselves by attacking other people. Okay? Right? Their way of defending themselves is to attack other people. Now, what's really beautiful about this moment is that she can't win. Look what happened. Look. She's actually, let me tell you something. Let me tell you why she can't win. She was looking for a rise. Oh no, she was looking for him to be offended. Right? She was looking for him to be offended so that she could also be like, haha, see? She wanted to have an aha moment, but the aha moment never came. She wanted to get the guy riled up to prove a point, but he never did it. So guess what's going to happen, right? Oh, okay, so you don't get riled up here? I'm cussing you out here, so you ain't going to get riled up? Okay, let me take it to the group then. Yeah?
Thinks that you should stay
Let
in
me,
the...
listen.
This dude done been mad.
Which one?
Let's go take it to the group, okay? All right, apparently she's not really 43, so... All right. So... when she realizes that she can't beat him 1-to-1, she's like, just like Absalom, she's going to go and collect a bunch of people to come and do warfare on this gentleman, to come and prove a point, because she's offended and she has to prove that she had every right to be offended. But look what's about to happen. Look what's about to happen.
Oh, that was cooking smells nice. Let's finish our conversation.
Which one? And am I going to get to talk?
Yeah.
Pause. Why did she have to bring that conversation up again? Why did she have to bring up that conversation again?